Surely when watching this video, everyone will have different opinions about the name of the video, Harvesting Pigs, that I chose and named. But with the typical personality of a farmer, the honesty, simplicity and straightforwardness, I cannot erase. Although I understand that there will be many communities when watching the video, they will think that I am using a satirical term to attract viewers. But I affirm that that is completely incorrect. Everyone, please listen to me tell the story titled, Economic Problems in Labor. Then everyone will understand the reason for this title. Through the story, the community will understand one thing: farmers rarely lie. Because most farmers can endure the hardest work in the agricultural industry. Therefore, there is nothing that makes me have to deceive others just to make money on YouTube. Everyone knows that no matter what industry you are making money in, you always want to have a high income. To have a high income, you must set up a meticulous and thorough economic problem to achieve the desired results. Creating an economic problem before doing something is a very important thing that determines whether your income will be high or low. To explain this problem, I will give a typical example from a person who is working as an accountant for a business. In fact, most of the accounting workers always have the same way of thinking that, when I work for hire, I just do my job as assigned by the company. And then at the end of the month, I receive my full income, so there is no need to set up an economic calculation to waste time. But there are also a few accountants who set up their own economic calculations very carefully. They calculate the time in their work process and give out the exact free time that they can. Next, they check to see if the company they are working for can give them an opportunity to earn extra income in addition to their main task. Usually, in a business, there are products to sell. They use that free time to ask the company for permission to do additional work selling products for the company. They can sell through online platforms from the free time they accumulate from work. And accountants who know how to set up economic problems in the process of working often have higher income than people who do not know how to set up economic problems. That is the answer for many people who often ask themselves, why do they do accounting like others but their income is lower, etc. Or another example of a business owner himself. If they want their company to increase revenue and achieve rapid growth, they are forced to set up a standard economic problem. Or even in a family, if you want your family life to always be stable in both economy and happiness, you also need to set up a clear economic problem, etc. From there, it shows that, no matter what industry you are in, you are forced to set up a thorough economic problem, then you will reap more success. Because, in the process of working, it is inevitable to spend time resources. So why don't you make the most of your time and bring yourself a better source of income? Each profession always has its own unique characteristics, so the economic problem will also be different. Some industries use time and some industries use surrounding resources, or some industries must combine with investment to establish an economic problem. And some industries must use all three conditions at the same time. With my black gold mining profession, there is no exception to having to establish an economic problem. My profession is related to agriculture. When mentioning the agricultural sector, there is always the companionship of the two words, workers and farmers. The meaning of the two words, workers and farmers, is not only referring to the working class in the agricultural sector. It also serves as a reminder to agricultural workers that, if you want to have a high income in agriculture, you must use your own efforts to create it. In which, the word, kong, represents the meaning of effort, and the word, nong, means agriculture. However, when you participate in economic activities from agriculture but you only know how to use effort and do not have a clear economic calculation, your income cannot be high. That is why the title of my video is, Harvesting Pigs, which is an implication of the economic problem. To have a high income, I have to create many different sources of income during my work. With this job, I need to combine all three conditions, time, surrounding resources and investment to create an economic problem that meets SG standards. SG stands for steady growth and means stable growth. If I do not meet SG standards, then with 5 people in my family, I will not have enough to cover all the expenses for daily life. What everyone is seeing in my video content is a fish pond. My fish pond is a fish pond that is completely different from a fish pond that is invested in for economic purposes in an industrial way. This difference is born from the core of the profession that I am pursuing. It's not as simple as investing in digging a fish pond, buying fish fry, buying food and earning income from selling finished fish after the end of the farming season. This fish pond, I call it an economic problem or a piggy bank, like a savings account that I manage myself. To form this fish pond, it took me 2 years to accumulate experience and knowledge about freshwater aquatic species in nature. During that time, I realized the potential to combine the work of raising meat fish with the source of fry and food for them from nature. Those fry are the young fish that have not reached adulthood, and their food source is trash fish that do not have high economic value like meat fish. And I can completely catch fish with the Chinese developed octagonal cage. First, I have to start investing in buying octagonal cages to trap fish. To have the investment for this, I had to save up from the money generated from my daily work of digging snails and catching crabs. In fact, you can mobilize capital from many different means to directly invest in buying bagua cages. But if you use this method, it will be very difficult to recover capital. Because the selling price of bagua cages is not cheap, you have to spend thousands of dollars to invest, while the revenue rate from it is very unstable due to the characteristics of fish species in nature. When the weather is favorable, you can catch fish, but if it falls into unfavorable weather times, the fish lie completely still in the cave to avoid dangerous risks caused by the weather. Then you will not catch any fish. This phenomenon occurs very unusually in all 4 weather seasons. Sometimes you cannot catch any fish for a whole month, which is normal. Therefore, I can only apply the bagua cage investment method according to the pillow investment method, and increase the number of bagua cages according to the revenue from the number of bagua cages invested. That is, I used the revenue from the previously invested bagua cage to invest in buying the next bagua cage. It took me nearly a year to reach the number of bagua cages as planned in advance. To have a plan to invest in bagua cages, I had to rely on my working capacity and balance my time for other jobs such as digging snails and catching crabs. Up to now, the bagua cages I invested in have reached 400 units and the total value is about $6,000. Next, I started investing in digging a fish pond. When I had a pond, I started filtering out meat fish that were not yet mature enough to use as fry to release into the pond. To feed them, I took advantage of the trash fish caught from the octagonal cage. Then I steamed them until they were half ripe, meaning they were not fully cooked, and then released them into the pond to feed them. During the farming process, I harvested meat fish every 12 months. I mainly chose to harvest fish when the meat fish market was in short supply. The long harvest time was partly due to the fact that the growth rate of natural fish is often slower than that of hybrid fish bred by industrial methods. And I needed to be proactive in creating new fry from the mother fish created during the farming process. Therefore, when harvesting, I only select fish that meet the standards for meat fish to sell to the market, and keep fish that do not meet the standards and pregnant fish to continue raising. To have fish fry and food for fish farming, in addition to using the octagonal cage to catch fish, I also have to actively catch fish by drilling holes in the canals. Because when the weather is unfavorable, fish often hide in the caves. At this time the octagonal cage will not be effective. The method of drilling holes to trap fish is almost an exclusive technique that I have developed from accumulated experience. I will soon make a video about the hole drilling technique in the next few days for the community to experience. With this piggy bank style fish pond, each year I can bring my family an average income of $2,000 to $4,000. Normally, people in the profession like me, because of the lack of economic calculations, do not know how to fully exploit this source of profit. Instead, they sell all the fish harvested from the octagonal cage to traders at the price of trash fish. Trash fish are often used as food for pigs or other aquatic species. The selling price of trash fish is often 10 to 15 times lower than the selling price of mature fish. Therefore, many people face losses when investing in octagonal cages and are forced to quit their jobs. To be effective in fish farming, in addition to investing in specialized tools and creating fishing techniques, it is also necessary to be persistent and not afraid to work during the day or at night. Because, to catch natural aquatic species, it depends on your experience in understanding weather factors, appropriate fishing time and the characteristics of each type of aquatic product. Then you can expect to achieve the desired results. Many people ask me why I have to maintain the exploitation of many different types of aquatic products at the same time instead of focusing on exploiting a single aquatic product and having to work in many ways like that. The main reason is because of the specificity of aquatic products in nature and the economic problem that forces me to do otherwise. From there, you should always be confident in the industry you are working in, because it always has open opportunities for you to create a better source of income, as long as you have 3 factors in yourself, including 1. Thoroughly grasp the specificity and resources of your work. 2. Set up an economic problem that meets SG standards. 3. Always work persistently. At first, you may not be able to meet the requirements, but gradually you will feel it is easy when you achieve proficiency. If you do not know where to start and how to do it, do not hesitate to contact me. I am willing to support you within my knowledge and completely free of charge. With such a short content, it is enough for me to affirm to every community that farmers are always honest and simple. I always have a motto in life: I must always live honestly so that others will love me. Whether you are making money from any industry or on YouTube, you should not use all tricks to deceive the community with sarcastic actions or terms. Because, you only succeed in deceiving others once, and forever they will not support or cooperate with you for a long time when they discover that you are deceiving them for your own benefit. Actually, this story is not strange to every community. I just spend a little more time to create another story so that the video does not become boring. Help everyone watch more interesting after a hard day's work. And at the same time, I also want to send a useful message to the community that, always take the time to set up an economic problem before you pursue a certain career because it will help you achieve better work results. Always follow me to continue watching interesting videos about black gold mining and listen to stories that help you accumulate more useful knowledge for life. Don't forget to always support me so that I can reduce suffering, everyone. Sincerely thank you for all the support from the community.